Dan Illman, Matt Birney are taking a look at the feature race at Oaklawn Park on Saturday for Arkansas breds. It's the $100,000 Down the Dusty Road Breeders' Stakes at 6 furlongs. Nice card at Oaklawn on Saturday. You can get involved with a DRF Bets account, and when you do, you double your action. You bet 100, you get 100. That's the sign-up bonus at bets.drf.com. Let's meet the field of Arkansas bred fillies and mares getting set to go 6 furlongs down the dusty road. Your morning line favorite, Matt, the 7, Georgia's Reward. And Georgia's Reward defeated Arkansas breds way back in March. Unfortunately, after that race, she was the victim of a layoff line, and she just caught a very tough spot at Keeneland off the layoff.
Yeah, a decent enough field that day, and also the concern for me is sloppy sealed track, and so clearly there was no guarantee that she was going to like that. But then you brought up the sort of the fly in the ointment, the piece where I can't just sit here and blindly say, oh, it was the track and it was the competition. I mean, that was her first start in how many months? 6, 7 months. I don't know if she can still run at this point. And to me, I don't think there's a lot of speed in here. She should work out a decent trip. I think she can be a little bit more forward than she's shown. But even having said that, 5-2 is no bargain in a spot like this.
Now, you said it all. There really isn't much for me to add. That was a good field she was facing at Keeneland. The horse that won Honor Way won by 8 lengths. Georgia's Reward was 7-2 in that race against Honor Way. Honor Way came back to run third in a 3X with a solid enough 77 Beyer speed figure. She had all the excuses, layoff, sloppy track, but now another 61 to 180 day layoff. I think she's a prime contender in this race, but like you, I'm not sure I want to take 5-2. I do want to talk about the number 4 Easter Indy, because she won the Down the Dusty Road in 2016. She won the Down the Dusty Road in 2017, and she ran an okay 6th in a tough edition of this race last year. She got back to 4 most recently at Thistledown in an allowance race, but she got a beautiful rail skimming trip to win.
Yeah, and I don't think she beat a great field that day. The runner-up came back, earned a 69 in her next start, so I suppose at least that's comparable and competitive. I do wonder if that 61 Beyer that she earned is a little bit actually on the light side. Maybe it should be slightly higher. The interesting thing here is, again, if you believe in a horse that has a thing for Oaklawn Park, there's no question about that, you're going to get a decent number in here. Maybe you don't get the 12-1, but you should at the very least get high single digits.
But she, like the horse we already discussed, the morning line favorite, coming off a long layoff. That Thistledown race came back in October. Let's see where the pace comes from. Another layoff horse expected to set the pace. Good news for fans of the 2 Firewater Rocket. Timeform US does not believe the pace will be especially fast. That blue bar indicates that this race might favor horses on or near the early lead, and Firewater Rocket is a speed. Now, she hasn't run since Mountaineer back in October, but she caught a key race that day.
I was going to say, you at least had some good things come out of that race, most notably the 3rd place finisher who was a next out winner. The problem I have with that field as a whole, you had 2 next out winners, but the figs that they've earned have just been kind of pedestrian. Some of them, those top 2 finishers, I should say the 2nd and 3rd place finishers, 42 and 43 Beyers. I mean, we're not talking about any great shakes in here. I thought for a minute about picking this horse just based on the Timeform pace projector. But look, she's had easy leads in the past and she spit it. There's just a part of me that looks at it and says maybe she can get a piece, but I don't like her on top.
Sitting up close on the pace projector is the 6, Usual Suspect, 20-1 on the morning line. Talk about a layoff. We haven't seen this horse since May the 12th at Prairie Meadows. This horse did win fresh to take her career debut at Oaklawn Park last year, but her Beyers have deteriorated since then. This is a tough spot off the layoff, but it is worth noting. A big trainer change to Carl Broberg.
And you know what? I think there is still some speed here. I think this is going to be a horse that's at least closer to the pace. I think she might be able to get up there and push the 2 a little bit. And if that's the case, maybe this pace isn't quite as slow as it seems at face value. If that's the case, again, I don't know that I love this horse, but I do think it helps anybody else, even the ones that are in closest attendance.
I know it was in May, but the horse that did win that race over Usual Suspect came back to run 2nd with a 74 Beyer, then won the next start after that with a 72 Beyer speed figure. Down towards the rail, a horse that's going to hope that Timeform US is wrong about the pace is Fastanista. Now, Fastanista has not won a race since January of 2017 at Oaklawn, but she has occasionally come with a decent run, and this barn is going to remove the blinkers just to try to shake things up a little bit. She's 1 for 15 on a dry fast track, and I wonder if she's the kind of horse you want to use underneath in case the pace collapses. Maybe a win is just out of reach.
That's kind of the way that I looked at her. I'd use her in third and fourth slot coming from way out of it. She doesn't have a lot of early speed. The equipment change trying to wake her up a little bit. I think you kind of know what her game is. She's going to come plodding along at the end. If the pace is just off the charts, maybe she's got a chance, but clearly it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
Jerry Bella at least has some recency over her foes. She's the number 5. She came back off a 7.5-month layoff to run at Oaklawn Park, and she just did not do any running at all that day. I can expect her to improve with that race under her belt, but I kind of needed to see more, and at the end of the day, she's another one. A lot of second place finishes on her resume.
Yeah, she's light on figs, and she's 10 times a minor award winner from 27 lifetime starts, only 2 wins. She's 0 for 11 at Oaklawn Park. There's just not a lot for me to really recommend on this one.
The 8 Euro Me got a nice pace setup according to Timeform US last time out, and winning her seasonal debut. It was her first start as a 4-year-old. We could probably project some sort of improvement on the Buyer's scale, but if you do believe the Timeform US pace projector for this race, it's going to be a 180-degree different situation, and Euro Me's best races come on a wet track. On a fast track, she may not be as effective.
Yeah, that really is the one that stuck out to me. She's 2 for 6 and 4 times in the money on a wet track, as opposed to 0 for 8 lifetime on a fast main strip. Second off the bench, she's paired up by her tops. There are some things to like here, but again, if this thing comes up wet, you elevate her. If it doesn't, I would downgrade her.
Let's take a look at our top picks for this year's Down the Dusty Road Breeders' Stakes. And you're going to go to the outside. The 9, Miss 51st Street, who like Jerry Bell, went first off the layoff last time out, and she at least showed a little bit of interest in the early portion of that race, and the winner of that race really flattered the heat. Shanghai Tariff came back to win a non-winners of 4 life optional with a 90 Buyer speed figure. Miss 51st might be sitting on tilt second start back.
And I just kind of, the way of going through the race, taking a look at how the pace may shape up, I kind of like that outside draw for Santana. You've got a few options. You can be up there if this thing is really on the slower side. If those couple horses that we spoke about, the 2 and the 6, if they choose to go, I think Miss 51st Street is probably the one that takes up closest attendance, gets the run on those deep closers, and then you just got to hopefully be able to hold them off. I think you get an improved effort here second off the bench, and she has a few races on her page that are good enough to win. My horse, more of a question mark. That's the 3 Superstar B, who was listed as a vet scratch on August the 17th, has not raced in 233 days. I trust Mac Robertson to have this horse ready, though. The last time she faced Arkansas bred only competition was way back in April. She won that maiden race by 8.5. She then took on Open Company at Canterbury, and it was a pretty enviable record. I mean, she hit the board in all 5 starts against open foes, including wins on both dirt and turf, and her win 2 starts back at Canterbury, she did not break at all. She came with a big wide move turning into the stretch, and she wore down the leader late, a race in which the 3rd place finisher came back to score with a 75 Buyer. For me, the big question mark is the layoff. Is she ready to go, and can she stay close to this pace? I was going to say, because the tough thing with a filly like this, or a mare at this point, she's 5 years old, she's got the figs and she's got races that are good enough to win. It's what are you going to get off this layoff? And ultimately, is she going to get the pace that she really needs? Because that's the thing that stuck out to me. If this thing is a little bit more on the pedestrian side up front, I do wonder, even if she is ready to go, is she just going to have a little bit too much to do coming from the back of the pack? And the other thing, too, is whether she wins or loses this race. I think second off the bench, you're probably looking at a forward move here. I think she makes plenty of sense in here. And again, you might get a square number on her.
Like that little gate work on February the 3rd, 6 furlongs and 12, maybe trying to get some speed in a Superstar B. I'm going 3, 1, 4, and 8. You like Miss 51st Street. I think she trips out from the outside.
That's kind of the way that I drew it up. I just kind of feel like there's a chance that she trips out, and at the end of the day, maybe that's going to be enough to get over the hump. I went 9, 7, 3, 2.
Fun race, the $100,000 Down the Dusty Road Breeders' Stakes, your feature at Oaklawn on Saturday. Bet the card with a DRF Bets account. Double your action when you sign up at bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for the Down the Dusty Road, 4:41 Central. Good luck.